Liverpool just can't catch a break. It's the fifth consecutive loss at Anfield. They lost to Chelsea on Thursday night, and they're currently seventh, 4 points away from the fourth spot. It's really not a great time to be a Red. Welcome to the show, the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Solomon Fo, and it's really great to have you guys join us on the show. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, kindly make sure you do that. If you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, make sure you like and you follow this page. Now, I hope you're all keeping safe, social distancing, wearing your face mask because the coronavirus is still out there. Joining me virtually from his base is Joseph Faulkner, wonderful sports journalist. He's going to be sharing his thoughts with us today on the show. It's great to have you join us on the show today, Joseph.
Thank you for having me, Solomon.
Yeah, Joseph, I know we're all excited about, what's coming forth this weekend, but just before we move into the weekend previews, probably we just want to touch on what happened that's between Liverpool and Chelsea. That particular game really showed that, Liverpool are really going down in a rut to some extent, actually. So now, do you see Liverpool finishing in the top four come the end of this season?
It's going to be a tough one, and it's a question I've been asked several times. And I'll answer it in two ways. One, I think they can still finish in the top four. They've got the players, they've got a manager, he's a top-class manager. He's someone who knows how to win games. But for now, I think what is lacking in the team is motivation. And that's the second part of my answer. Do they look like a team motivated to finish in the top four? No, they don't. But can they? Yes, I think they can. So finishing in the top four is going to be dependent on how the manager is able to inspire the team again to return to winning ways, because they need to start winning. They have the players. The Salahs of this world, the Jota is back from injury, Sadio Mane. There are several players. You got to, it's just a matter of motivation, And then I have a strong feeling that about 2 or 3 players want to leave. They are tired. They want new challenges and all of that. It's not easy when you've won the Champions League and you've won the league to remain motivated to do new things. There are very few managers who find a way to keep their teams motivated despite winning titles. And apparently, it's been one of the trend every time Jurgen Klopp has managed the team. They lose motivation after they win. So I think even he himself as a man, as a coach, he's there doing everything to ensure his team wins. But the moment they win, the motivation dies down.
Exactly.
So he needs to find a way to motivate the guy. They have the players to get back in the top four. Right now, the gap between them and the top four is opening every day. They are closer to the top half of the table than they are to the top of the table. And that's a huge problem. So they need to find motivation from somewhere.
Interesting thoughts there. Now, this weekend, there are so many exciting games lined up. You have the Manchester derby, the Madrid derby. There's a game between Juventus and Lazio. And also, there's one other game I think I'm missing out. Yes, Bayern Munich against Borussia Dortmund. What game are you most excited about?
For me, it's the Madrid derby. And it's because of a lot of history surrounding this fixture. There are a few times Atlético have looked like a side that might challenge Barcelona or Real Madrid for the title. And every time they lose the second installment of the Madrid derby, they drop in form. So there's a lot riding on this particular game. You ask yourself, Atlético Madrid, how convincing have they been in recent times? Playing at home, they look like a pretty formidable side. They look like a solid side. But then look at the way they played against Levante. They lost at home to Levante, and that was a shocker. They had all their main players, their star players on the field, but somehow they couldn't find a way past Levante. And 2 goals from Levante, and they couldn't find their way back. And that's the biggest problem Atlético Madrid have shown over the years, not just this season. You see years when they are doing so well and they are looking like they're coasting to the title, and they get to the part where you expect them to find some sort of stability and just coast to the title, and they break down. And it looks like it's about to happen again. Before Levante, they played against Celta Vigo at home to Celta Vigo, and they played out a 2-2 draw. And then you begin to ask yourself, this is a team that was beating everybody, Sevilla, Valencia, Real Madrid, everybody were beating everybody, though they don't score a lot of goals, they don't score tons of goals, but you know they will get you 1 or 2 goals and win games. But they've gotten to that part where it doesn't look like that anymore. It's beginning to change. and then their title credibility or credentials will be challenged, will be asked again. But against Real Madrid themselves have not been super solid like that. But then you've got to give Real Madrid some credit. They know how to end the season. They're experts when it comes to the end of the season. They've blown hot and cold all season. But look at the way they played in the last 5 games in all competitions. Last 5 to 10 games in all competitions. You realize that they have been on it until they won 1-0 draw with Real Sociedad. Every time they play, they've looked like they can get something. 4 wins on the row against some solid opposition. Then they tripped against Real Sociedad, and once it's the Madrid derby, they're going to step it up a notch. Benzema is out injured. Ramos is out injured. Those are 2 key players for them. Those are 2 key players at any time. But I think Real Madrid have what it takes to get this job done, and they have a lot of players who can, on their day, can wreak havoc. Exactly. You talk about Isco. Now, Isco is a controversial person, a controversial player in that team, but his creativity is second to none. Hazard has been brought to be a creative spark in the team. He's not doing that job. The Croat in the middle is also not. He's also not doing enough at the moment. So everything looks not to be working for Real Madrid until 5 games ago. All of a sudden, everything started gelling for them. And champions. One of the things you know about title contenders, or people who understand what it means to win titles, when they get into a stride, it's difficult to stop them. And I think Atlético Madrid, if they lose the game against Real Madrid this weekend, that's it for them. They're not going to win that title because the gap between them and second place will be dropped, will be cut to 2 points, and then it will be dangerous for them. So I feel it's going to be a very close game. We're not going to see tons of goal, but I can't call this one. I sincerely can't call this one. In my head, I'm thinking Atlético Madrid will probably turn it up, but then I think about them in the past and how they've crumbled at this time, and then I look at their last 2 home games and I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's that time of the season again for Atlético Madrid.
Interesting thoughts there. That's the Madrid derby preview already. So Shane, to the next preview that we have lined up for the show today. That's the Manchester derby between Manchester City and Manchester United. And 2 sets of starts actually set things quite properly this weekend. And that's the very fact that Manchester City, they've not lost in 25 games. That's a 25-game unbeaten run in all competition. And for Manchester United, they have actually not lost in any of their 21 away games. So would you say, Manchester United has what it takes, to end the unbeaten run of Manchester City? How do you see this game panning out?
Look at the personnel on both sides, and you think, both sides have enough quality in their squads to take up any side and take up anybody. But they're gonna have done something very well. This is in picked up points when you least expect from him. But against the top 16, he's been woeful. Against the top 6, I was looking at the statistics of wins against the top 16, and I think he's won only once. That's the traditional top 16 teams. He's won only once against them, and then 1 draw, and he's lost 4. And that is not a statistic that will inspire confidence in anything. But then you look at Manchester City. First, the Pep Guardiola factor is something that can never be overemphasized. And it's simply because he understands what it means to win titles. Everywhere he's gone on to win titles. Everywhere he's gone to coach, he's gone to win titles. He knows how to close up games. Now, he's come to England, and everybody thought it was impossible to replicate everything he did at Barcelona or Bayern Munich, how he totally dominated games and all of that. Now he's done it, but he's also learned something. All of a sudden, we're seeing a Pep Guardiola who knows how to score 1 goal and shot everywhere up. His teams don't necessarily have to go all out for 90 minutes anymore. And that's why a lot of times you see a Guardiola team in recent years, they don't totally dominate games for 90 minutes anymore. They do enough to get their noses in front, and they just keep the ball, and it is something that you need to know how to mix and match. Fortunately for them, Man City have gotten into that stride. They've gotten into that position where they don't need to win 10-0. They don't need to win 5-0. 2-1, 1-0, and the job is done. And you look at their recent results. Now they're on a roll. They are on a winning streak. about 21 games already, and go and check out most of the games in that 21 games. There are very few that they scored more than 3 goals. A lot of the games, they scored 2 goals. There are some 1-0 victories, but a lot of times they don't do more than 2 goals because, you know, they might concede at any point. So they scored 2 goals and they shut out the game. That's Manchester City. So they've gotten to that part where they've smelt the title. They look at the title and they think, okay, it's theirs for the taking right now. The biggest challenger, the team we all thought will give them the biggest challenge was Liverpool. And Liverpool has faltered, they've fallen away so deeply. Manchester United does not have the guile or the intensity or the tenacity to challenge Manchester City for the title. For all the beautiful things Ole has done with this team, I don't see, no matter who Ole plays in this side, Cavani, start with Cavani or Rashford or Martial, start with anybody you like. Manchester City have in that team 2 sets of players for each role in the team that will break down anybody, that will break down any team. And you have De Bruyne back, and De Bruyne came back at the right time. Against Arsenal, he showed that, okay, he still got it, but he needed fitness. And then beyond the Arsenal game, you can see De Bruyne gradually getting into the shape. Now, the last time out that Manchester City were out, De Bruyne was in amazing form. It was against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves were very compact at the back. They put out a very disciplined line. They kept a disciplined line at the back. But Manchester City were very, very patient. And the moment the goals started coming in, you knew it was lighter. It was going to be lighter. And that's the same thing that's going to happen against Manchester United. United will defend very well. They will try, but the mistake United will make is they will try to go all out against Manchester City. You will see Bruno Fernandes trying to prove a point. He's going to keep bombing forward. And Rashford is going to start this one. He's going to definitely, I see him start because you want to play with pace against City. You're not going to see a lot of the balls. So you want a quick counter-attacking play against them. So you want to play with a lot of pace in the side. And at the front, the quickest guy in the United front line is Rashford. So you want to start with him. But you're going to leave holes for City to exploit. And that's where the problem lies. You've got Ike Gundogan. He's going to start on Sunday. How do I know? That's why he was rested last weekend. He played in the midweek, but he's going to start this one. You have De Bruyne, and then you have those technicians. Mahrez, you've got Bernardo Silva. Whichever one comes into play, they're going to be patient. They're going to take their time, but they're going to pick United apart at some point in the game.
Interesting thoughts there. Thank you so much for joining us on the Nutmeg today. And hopefully after this coronavirus, we hope to get you down to the studio.
It will be a pleasure. It will be a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on the show.
So there you have it, the Nutmeg weekend preview. There were some games we couldn't touch on because of time, but they are still awesome games. Make sure you catch them on TV. That's the Bayern Munich game against Borussia Dortmund. There is also Juventus against Lazio. And in the MPFL, great games. You've got Kano Pillars against Rangers and Plateau United against FMFC. So there you have it. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome weekend for all of us. My name is Solomon Fowe. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And this has been the Nutmeg.